Hi everyone, hope you're all well. Hope your Thursday is taking you well. Welcome to our Thursday class. We shall give the rest 4 minutes so that we will have the right quorum to start the class. I can see our facilitator is already in. So we'll give the rest 4 minutes, and at exactly 6:05, we'll start the class. Thank you. Dr. Rose, if you can get me, you can now start. In the absence of Dr. Rose, I think she might be having some issue with her connection. I want us to take a test here. And then those will take the test. You can post your result on the chat. And of course, with your ideal career. Okay, I see Dr. Rose is back. Though I'll still be posting the chat. I will be posting the link on the chat. So when you get it, we'll discuss it with Dr. Rose later. Dr. Rose, karibu.
Thank you so much, Joseph. I think Jen is the one who was who got me out of the meeting, but today I was here very early. So if you can enable me to present my slides.
Already done?
Oh, yes, you have. You already have. Thank you. Let me just go to it now. So let me know if you're able to see my slides.
Yeah,
yes.
can see them.
Yes.
Yes, it's up.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Okay. So thank you, guys. And how has your week been? I know that the week was interrupted with a holiday. How has it been?
Busy.
Well,
Can I hear from one or two of you how your week has been?
The week is fine.
Okay. So today we are going to talk about expectations in the dynamic world of work. And basically, the world of work keeps on changing. And the basic expectations that, employers will have of you. And we are going to go through some of them just to assist you now when you get to your place of work to be able to keep the job. There are people who get very good jobs, but they find it very hard to keep those jobs. So we would want you to get a job and keep that job. So how would you be able to do that? So we are going to go through that. So in terms of what I'm going to take you through today, how to keep your job, support work skills, growing your career. You don't want to just, stay at the same place. Like if you're a management trainee, you don't want to stay there. You want to rise up and possibly become the CEO of that company one day. Also, in terms of change management, a lot happens in terms of organizations. Things change, at one time we never had computers, but now the world is, you're working through computer. Majority of the people would work from home. A lot of people now are out to manage change, because change will always be constant in your career. So those are the three objectives: understanding how to keep your job, the importance of support skills, understanding how you can be able to grow your career, and also managing change in the workplace. That's what I'm going to take you through today. And before I can go to my next slide, I just want to hear from you guys. Why is it so important for you to keep your job? Or why do you want to keep a job if you've gotten it? Or why are you looking for a job in the first place? Can I hear from you?
Good evening, everyone.
You can. Yes. Good evening, Brian.
Keeping a job is necessary because it ensures growth, both personally and professionally, and then you are able to meet other related goals like financial goals, family goals. Because I mean, how do you provide when you don't have a job unless you steal or you are connected? You are part of the deep state. So yeah, I think keeping a job also gives you purpose. Thank you.
Yes, Brian, you've really well put it well. Can I also hear from somebody else? Why is it important to have a job, and why is it important to keep it? Anybody who wants to say something before I can go to the slides of what I have in my slides? Yes, Faith Nyakwada.
Yes. So for me, I believe that having a job actually, aside from having a dream career, it's a good way to have income, disposable, quote unquote, disposable income, and also self-development, because the first job actually kind of decides if you either are going to stay in the same spot or you can actually develop yourself further.
Okay, that's excellent, Faith. Tafazwa.
Yeah.
Your hand is up. Say something.
Yes. Am I audible?
Hello.
Hello.
Yes, you're audible.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes, you're audible. Proceed.
Yes. So as others said, it's like it gives you satisfaction. Let's say you are really with a passion with that field, then getting a job will make you just feel good, or feel an achievement. And also, I think by keeping it, it will help you even gain experience in that field. Yeah, that's all.
Yeah, that's excellent, Tafazwa. Caroline Mugai.
Having a job is important because it enables one to put into practice the skills they've obtained from their school and also from their books into practice. And also maintaining the job is important because one is able to, it somehow create a path to achieving the long-term goals in terms of financial levels where one wants to get to. Thank you.
Thank you, Caroline. That's really good. Caleb?
Yeah, okay. For me, the benefit of picking a job, having a job, it gives you that sense of fulfillment, because when someone is growing, he has that urge, I want to be a pilot, I want to be maybe a doctor, and you go and study you study the career that you chose, and it comes time that you want to have a job. That gives you the sense of fulfillment. Feel like you have achieved what you wanted, and it kind of boosts your self-esteem.
Okay, that's excellent, Caleb. I have a trick question for you guys before I go to my next slide. What if you were born with all the money in the world? would you still want to have a job? Can I
For
hear
me,
from
no.
somebody? If you are born
No.
with all the money in the world, you don't need to pay rent, you don't need to buy food, you have all the money in the world, would you still want to work?
No way.
I
I'll back
wouldn't.
I want to please mention. I want to see who that is. Who is that who's saying that? What's your name?
Yeah, Faith.
Yeah, Nazra. Is that you?
No, that's not me.
Oh, it's Faith who's saying. Okay, Faith. Please say. Please just elaborate before Nazra comes in.
So for me, I don't think I'll work, but I might find other ways to use that income and maybe give some of it to like charities and have some for myself. I don't think working would be an option, but I'd probably do more of a community thing.
So what would you do from morning to evening every
Rose,
day?
Oh. Pardon?
Yes, who is that? Is that Tafadzwa? Or who is that? Okay,
No.
I have several hands up. Let me start with Tobias. Can I start with Tobias? Yes, Tobias?
Hello? Hello?
Yes, Tobias, proceed. I can hear you. Yes.
I would say that being born in a family where there is everything, or having everything at your disposal, at your back, it is a very dangerous thing, because you may not know where exactly you want to go, because you believe that everything is there now. You don't need anything you don't have to achieve anything. At the end of the day, you might find yourself just being there like a robot. Thank you.
Okay, thanks Tobias. Can we have Georgina?
Yes, hello.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, as for me, I think even if you have so much money, we say some people like Elon Musk, you have to work, because working gives you a sense of responsibility and leadership, and then that contribution to the society, to the community, because you can create jobs and yeah, something like that. That is my opinion.
Thank you, Georgina. Brian Diritu?
I wouldn't work. I would let the money work for me.
So what would you do from 8 to 5? I want to hear that. What are you going to do from 8 to 5?
Buying out companies, improve them, create jobs for others, work for me, and then they pay me. More money creates more money.
But that is work. That is work. Okay, can I hear from Caleb? Caleb?
Yes, according to me, what I know is that human wants are endless. And even when you give me all the money that is on this earth, there's something that I'll want apart from that money, and I'll work towards it. I don't think there is end of work. You must just work to achieve something.
Okay, thank you, Caleb. Tafadzwa?
Yeah, personally, I think if I was in that position, I would still want to work, even though it's not all about straining myself, but just being part of an external family, trying to know how the working environment is like, just maybe for some period of time. I would like to experience that, because in life you just need to know, like, if someone is telling you like our work is hard, or being at a workplace is this kind of a thing, then you might understand that those people from your own personal experience. Then also, as for me, it's like, let me just give an example. I grew up being like wanting to be a lawyer. So even now, if someone comes and say, "Oh, this money is yours now," but I feel like I just want to present one person in a court case, and that by so doing, I would have that fulfillment, like, yeah, I have achieved something. and I feel pleased of it, right? So I think there's something in us that you just need to fulfill something which you think you have been born for. I don't know if I said it right, but that's what I think.
Thank you, Tafazwa. Stephen, Marsha? Stephen, your hand is up. You wanted to say something? Okay, so I can't hear from you, Stephen. So I think we can go ahead. And I think all the reasons that you mentioned, I have them in this slide. So financial stability, you guys have mentioned about financial stability. Yes, people, to get jobs and keep jobs because, they want to earn a livelihood, they want to get a family, they want to be able to educate their children. And all the answers you said are right. Health benefits. Nowadays, healthcare is very, very expensive. So if you can be able to get a good employer, then you probably have the money to be able to pay for your healthcare and that of your family. And additionally, also, there are some companies that also offer, healthcare packages, insurance packages. So that could be one of the reasons why you want to keep your job. You're also impacting society. And I think this comes back to the discussion that we have had. If you had all the money in the world, would you still want to work? There are people who want to keep their jobs or want to get jobs, and they want to do those jobs. Why? Because they want to impact society in one way or another. They want to impact mankind. They're not working necessarily to be able to make money, but they are working to be able to impact mankind. Then practicing your passion. I think Tafazwa mentioned, if you want to be a lawyer, no matter how much money you're given, that just one day in the court gives you a lot of satisfaction. So you could be wanting to satisfy your passion. Then maintaining one's own dignity. If you don't have a job, or you find that sometimes you'll find that you're dependent on other people, and keeping on asking for money really can lower one's dignity. Not having anything to do from morning to evening, even if you have all the money in the world, sometimes you feel your self-esteem is low because you'll end at the end of the day you're asking yourself, okay, so what am I doing in this world, if I'm not contributing anything? Then occupying one's time. I asked several times, these people who are saying that they don't want a job, what will you do from morning to evening? You end up becoming depressed because you have nothing to do. Can you imagine you are sitting somewhere, you have servants. When you wake up in the morning, there's somebody to put for you slippers there. There's somebody to wash you. There's somebody to do everything for you. You will only do that for maybe 2-3 days. After that, you just find yourself that is not the kind of life you want, unless you were born into that life. So it's important, there are many reasons why people want to keep jobs, and I think we've gone through that. So how do you keep your job? Before I go to this slide, I just want us to you do, while you're working to just keep a job, Can I hear from you guys? What things do you need to do to ensure that you're keeping your job? You've gotten a new job, they're paying you some good amount of money, and you maybe bought your first Subaru, there are these people who like the Subaru cars, or you've gotten your first digs, you've gotten that car, a 1-bedroom house there, and you want to keep that job. How would you do that? What are the things that you need to do to ensure that you're keeping that job? Can I hear from you guys? I'm seeing Georgina. Georgina's hand up.
I will be very creative, reliable, and respect my bosses, and my workmates.
Yes, that is good, Georgina. I'm seeing Tobias, your hand is up.
I believe you can, for you to maintain your job, you need to really understand your job description, so that even as you grow alongside with your skills, you need to understand actually what you are supposed to be doing in that job, so that you don't overlap with others. Thank you.
That is great. Stephen, your hand is still up.
Yes, I had raised it again because I wanted to
Okay,
speak.
can we have Wendy Lumasia?
I would say on punctuality.
Okay, go ahead, Stephen.
I would be punctual in terms of the deadline and in terms of just being on the work on time.
Okay, punctuality, that's good. Stephen, were you saying something?
Yes, I was saying
Stephen
something.
Marshall, before we have Tafadzwa.
Yes. Are you getting me now? So I was saying that okay, one of the things that I have to do, one is to be passionate about the work that I'm doing. So if I'm passionate about it, then obviously I'll make sure that I keep time, and I do all that it is entailed for myself to keep that job safe, respecting other workers, respecting other bosses, and make help myself or being able to communicate well with other people to build a good rapport in general. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Stephen. That you're very right. Last, can we have Tafadzwa?
Yes, I think Stephen now said it all, but I just wanted to say I would maintain my work etiquette and also just adhere to the code of conduct of the company. Yeah, and also being passionate of your position. Just that. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Tafadzwa. I think most of what you've mentioned is correct. Actually, all of what you've mentioned is correct. And I'll just go through some of what I got when I was doing my research on this area. First is having good relationships at work. We said in our previous lectures that you're spending so much time with your coworkers, more than even you spend with your family. So having that good relationship will make the work environment, easier for you to work. So having good relationships will ensure that you're in good terms with your colleagues. You're having good teamwork. And when that happens, the organization goals are able to be met. And if the organization's goals are met, then the organization will see the need of having you in the workplace. So it's important that you have good relationships in order for you to keep your job. Then also be irreplaceable. And by being irreplaceable, I mean that be that kind of employee who is so impactful, so creative, so innovative, somebody whom if they don't come to work today, then the boss knows, even the CEO knows, hey, this guy, there's something that is missing. Like have a special skill, be the best report writer, be the person who's always providing solutions to complex problems, identify a niche of something that, you can be able to perfect over time in a way that when you're in any organization, even when retrenchment comes, restructuring comes, you'll be the last person to leave. Why? Because your impact is so much, your value is so much to that organization that they would rather other people go and you're left behind. Another way you can look at it being is being able to do many things. Don't limit yourself to just doing whatever is in your career. Be open to be able to do even other things which are outside your career. That way you become a person who can multitask and you become irreplaceable in an organization. Then also enhance your performance and exceed your targets. When you go to an organization, ensure you have your job description, ensure you have your targets. Let your boss, ask your boss, what do you need me to do? By the end of the month, what do you need me to achieve? By the end of the year, what do you need me to achieve? And get that, put in place, ask your boss, what do I need to do to be able to hit this target? If you cannot be able to exceed those targets, at least meet those targets, but strive to be able to exceed in a way that when people are doing performance reviews, appraisals, you're doing well. You're not the person whom you'll be considered to, to be separated from the organization because of performance. Punctuality, I think one of you mentioned, and this is a place that you can easily excel. There's always that perception that a punctual person is a person who is a high performer, is a person who's disciplined. So if you can just master that skill of punctuality, then you remove a lot of negativity from being associated with you. somebody who's always late, people are always perceive, even this one is always late in terms of, submitting assignments, in terms of, they will always think that disorganization manifests throughout your, your personality, throughout your work. So if you can be able to be a punctual person, then that really stands out. Then maintain a good attendance record. There is difference between punctuality. Punctuality is coming on time. Attendance is coming to work every day. Don't be that kind of an employee whom something always happens. Today they are sick. Tomorrow their child is sick. Tomorrow, the other day, they have gone for a funeral. They have killed everybody in their family. This one has died. The other one has, and some of those things are even not true. Don't be that kind of person who, you've drank so much on Sunday, then on Monday morning, you have a very bad hangover. You call your boss and tell your boss, so, I'm unwell. Then after that, now you have to start rushing to hospital to look for that sick note. That is going to affect how you are perceived in the organization. Have that good attendance record. If you must, life happens, and things will happen, and you need to go for those things to your work. Offer to help others, keep you in the organization. Add valuable contributions when you're in meetings. Don't be afraid to say something. There's nothing that you say that will be perceived as being stupid, or, the worst that people can do is to ignore your contribution, but let your voice be heard. Sometimes you'll talk until, you'll feel people are not hearing you. But with time, it even gives you the confidence. You become confident to be able to speak. You will not feel so shy so much. So always, when you see something and you want to say, come out and say this. Don't be afraid of talking. Even if you're with people who are more senior than you, with more experience. Right now, there's a lot of recognition of what the young people are bringing, on the table. So don't be afraid to bring out that point. There could be a point of view that you're seeing that person who's been in an organization for 20 years is not seeing. Also you can take on more work, volunteer if there's more work in the organization, and, be that kind of person who will always support your boss. If they see that you're the person who's always willing and not saying, oh, this is not my job, or I have to rush to go and do something else. But if you're the person who's always offering to take more work, then you're more likely to keep your job. Also be flexible. I think I mentioned this. Flexibility is being able to work across, don't limit yourself so much that I'm a lawyer, I'm just doing this law work only. Have an entrepreneurial spirit even in the workplace, whereby you can do much. Because when you look at leaders in organizations, there are people who have been able to lead different sections. They have been able to diversify themselves. They are no longer HR managers. They are no longer, finance managers. They are leaders. So if you can be able to be flexible, then I think that is a really good thing for you to be, or a really good character trait for you to have. Then have a good relationship with your supervisor. You'll come to find out your supervisor is one of the most important people in the organization. So if you can be able to cultivate that relationship with your supervisor, let him understand you, and you also understand him. And always know the boss is the boss. The supervisor is the one who will make or break you in any organization. So if you can be able to cultivate that good relationship with him, be very clear. There are supervisors who will take time for you to understand how they want their work done, but don't be afraid of going back and asking, okay, sir, this time I did it this way, can you, but I saw that you corrected, can you be able to explain to me? So be that person who always has the courage to keep on going back and asking until you perfect yourself to the level which the supervisor will be happy. Then also have a positive attitude. That one I think you all understand. Just be that person who's always looking at the positive side of things, always looking at, even targets. When you're given a target, look at what I can't be able to achieve, or this one, having already failing yourself even before you get there. So that positive attitude would really, really help you. And a positive attitude attracts people to you. And when people are attracted,
Kindly, we can't get you well.
Dr.
You're
Rose, we are
breaking.
losing you. You are breaking.
And when you form those relationships, then the likelihood of you, staying in that organization are very high if you want to stay. Ask for feedback. I mentioned that. Be the person who's always coming up with solutions.
Dr. Rose, you're breaking.
Problem solver. The current world of work today, if you provide
It seems we have lost her all along. So kindly just let us give her some few minutes to be back. Meanwhile, we can continue with our exercise that we had started earlier on as she's coming. So for those who have taken it, you can post your answers on the chat box.
Sorry, where's the link?
Okay, I'm just reposting it. It's on the chat box now. You can look for, you can click on it, do that personality test. Then you can also add it to your ideal career and then post it on the chat box.
Can you hear me?
Thank you, Evelyn. I can see you are a defender. Other people who've done the test? Okay, let me see who is this. We have Sylvia Code. Your personality type is defender. You are 52% intuitive. The trait shows that where we direct our mental energy. Nyaramba, you are an executive. Kibe, Mary, Wanjiro, I did the test, find out I am an INFJ. Who is there? Sorry, they are coming in so fast. Who is the advocate career, such as social work? Dennis Washira, you are saying you cannot hear anything. Kindly confirm if you can hear me. Tobias Wafula,
Can you hear
you are a
me?
protagonist. Yes, Dr. Rose, we can hear you now.
Okay, thank you. I think you can proceed. Or would you like me to proceed?
You can proceed.
Okay, thank you, Joseph.
Dr. Rose, if you are speaking, we can't hear you.
So I think I was coming to the end of this how to be able to keep your job, and we talked about following company policies. I believe one of you had mentioned about following company policies. So when you report in a new organization, just find out if Joseph, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now, but you keep on breaking. Dr. Rose? Dr. Rose? Seems we have lost her audio. Kimatu case. I see you are analyst. You are an analyst. Same to Brand Derito. We have Odhiambo Akinyi, INTJ. You are the architect. I'm trying to look for someone else whom I have not tried.
Then we became friends, then he continued hitting on me, and I know it just became weird after.
Okay, no one else has posted his or her result. Okay, Waweru Dennis, I can see you are a mediator. Award Diana, ISFJT, you are a defender. Anyone else who has carried out the test? Dr. Rose, once you are there, you can just let me know. Sarah
I'm here.
Maina,
Can you hear me? I am here.
Okay, we can hear you now. You can proceed.
Okay. So I'll try and move because of my unstable internet. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. We can hear you.
Dr. Rose? Mbarak Hinzano, I can see you are also an architect.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Are you able to hear me? Can somebody hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, Dr.
Okay, because it seems when
Yes,
so that we can be able to. Okay, let me just move faster so that we can be able to complete before my internet goes off completely. So I'll go to the next topic that I was talking about, support work skills. And just to introduce this, I just want to say that, yes, you have gone through the university, to the college, and you've acquired your basic degree. But that's not enough in the work of world, in the world of work. There are other specialized skills that you need to acquire to enable you to be able to work effectively and also even grow in your career. And some of them include computer literacy, ICT skills. When you're now looking at ICT now, when you're doing finance or when you're doing HR, most of the, world of work nowadays, people are using applications. For example, the ERP, enterprise resource planning, CRM for customer service officers and marketers. So you need to, acquire those skills. You can go to a college and get it, or even some employers will even be able to sponsor you to do them. Project management skills are important, especially for ICT people. Social and communication skills. In work, you're going to communicate a lot, you're going to write a lot, so it will be important for you to master those skills. Report writing, especially second language. If you are working or aspiring to work in a UN body or these non-governmental organizations, a second language is very important. Also, conflict resolution. In the world of work, you will always come across conflict. So you must be able to master, how to be able to resolve conflict in order to ensure that you're working you're working together and, well with your colleagues. Then negotiations, you will find yourself interacting with customers, with suppliers, and you might need to be able to negotiate agreements. You might need to be able to negotiate with customers in terms of pricing. So negotiation skills are also very important. Leadership, I cannot be able to emphasize that. It's important that you grow leadership even from the entry level of the organization. Always learn more about leadership. Put yourself in positions whereby you can be picked out for leadership. Volunteer to be able to lead small tasks, small task forces, small committees. That way you grow your leadership skills. Customer service skills, customer satisfaction, that's also very important. Record management, critical thinking or creative thinking. I don't know if you guys have heard of design thinking. Those are some of the new skills that are required in the new world. Telephone etiquette, when you go to an organization, how you answer your own personal mobile phone is very different from how you answer an organizational call. You might need to introduce yourself. Also, when you're calling, you need to be able, when you're finishing the call, you might also need to close the call in an appropriate manner. So those are some of the skills that you need to learn. Decision-making ability, this is one of the most sought after skills because a lot of people are very indecisive. So if you're able to make decisions, then ascending to leadership becomes very easy because you're a decisive person. Also, having a continuous learning mindset. Learning should not stop at the university. Learning is continuous. At the university, you are taught how to learn. So now that you have been taught how to learn, now you need to continue learning. You need to be innovative, have an analytical mind, analytical thinking. When you're presenting a paper to your boss or a concept paper, it should be a concept paper that you have already looked at all sides of the coin. You have analyzed all situations. It is well researched so that you are able to present resolutions or recommendations that can work. Complex problem solving skills, that one I think I also mentioned. Emotional intelligence, ensuring that you're balanced emotionally, not overreacting at work, understanding how other people are feeling, putting yourself in the shoes of others. So just having a level mind is also very good in the workplace. Not blowing up, somebody has approached you with something, maybe even you have people who even fight at the workplace. Those are things that are really you can avoid by growing your emotional intelligence. Also learning agility, be agile, be able to learn, continuously learn new things, being flexible. So those are some of the work support skills that I think you should be able to learn as join the place of work. So I want to hear from you, what other skills do you think are important? You can put up your hand. I hear what skills you think are important that I may have left out. Can I hear from somebody?
I have a question.
Yes, proceed. You can ask your question.
Would it be appropriate to say presentation skills or maybe public speaking skills? Because sometimes you might be in charge of, let's say, a research and you are required to present your findings. So is it safe to include presentation skills?
Definitely, yes. That's one of the most important skills, presentation skills, especially there are some careers, for example, you are in sales. For example, I think most of the careers you might at one point need to present. So it's important to develop a public speaking and presentation skills. So thank you so much for adding that. Anybody who wants to add another skill? You can unmute yourself and say something. Okay, so I'll proceed to career growth.
Mwalimu.
Yes.
Yes, this is Sanya speaking from Kenyatta University.
Yes.
It's my first time to be in such a forum. This is a team employable, but okay. One skill that I can add or that I'm thinking of is that being creative and innovative. Somebody being creative and innovative in a workforce, I think is very important in the growth of that work or the company or wherever he or she is. Thank you.
Thank you for that, Sanya. Yes, you're very right. Creativity and innovation is very important, especially in the world of work today. People who are creative are much sought after. For example, if you saw, you've watched the movie on how Facebook came about. It was out of the creativity of Mark Zuckerberg for him to be able to be what he is today, and also for Facebook to be an application that has impacted the whole world. So creativity is very, very important. So I'll go to career growth. And I'll just start by defining what a career is. A career can be defined as a total sum of decisions that direct your educational, social, economic, political, and spiritual endeavors and reflect your unique personality, characteristics, and basic life values. So I want to ask a question. Why should you grow your career? Why is it important to think of growing your career? Can I hear from you? Can I hear from anybody? Why is it important to grow your career? Because you have chosen a career. So why is it important to invest in that career? Can I hear somebody?
I don't know whether I should talk because I could hear somebody from the... Okay, let me just talk. Thank you, Madam Rose. My name is Mary from USIU. And I think one of the important, why somebody should grow their career is, first of all, you're a human being. And I mean, growth is very important for any individual out there. I think one of the things that actually keeps us moving as human beings, ideally, is growth, it's change, and it's progress. So obviously, at one point or another, like your career needs to adjust, it needs to grow, it needs probably to change a little bit, because even you as an individual, you're changing along the way. At the same time, I feel as we grow and as we evolve over time, our passions do change. And that may force us to change, not necessarily to change, but to actually grow our careers to match up to those changes. You find that some of us are actually doing a particular undergraduate program, but maybe 5 years, 10 years down the line, we'll come to realize, I don't really think I'm so passionate about it. Maybe I should grow so that it can actually match up to these other taste and interest that I've picked up along. So I think that's where our careers grow.
Thank you. I think you've given a very excellent response on that. Anybody else who wants to say why it's important to grow your career?
I think for me, mimi kwangu ni exposure. I think okay. Mary has touched it all, but I think I can just add exposure. I really would like to get more exposed and be able to solve other problems, not the ones that have been solved. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for that. I think what you've mentioned is very correct. Yes, it's important to grow your career. And first of all, even before we go to how to grow your career, how do you measure your career success? So I just want to ask you guys also, sorry, I'm asking you two successive questions. How do you measure career success? Like if you've chosen a career, how would you say that I'm successful? How would you measure your success? Okay, there's somebody who needs to mute themselves.
We can proceed, Dr. Rose.
You created to that.
Okay, yes. Somebody was saying something. How do you measure career success? That's the question I asked.
Okay, I think first thing that will determine whether you are growing your career is the position that you'll be having in the course of your career. Maybe let's take
Please speak up. You're too soft. I can't.
What I'm trying to say is how you can measure your career is the position that you will be at any given career that you pick. Let's say you're working in a bank. At one point, you'll be a cashier. And as time goes by, maybe you'll be a manager or a supervisor in the bank. That will determine that you are growing in your career, the position that you'll be having as time goes by.
Okay, thank you. That is correct. Wendy, I know your hand has been up. Please say something.
Well, let me start by answering the first question. Why is it important for someone to grow their career? It's basically for them to also know their potential, to maximize and get to their full potential. And then how can someone measure their success? I would bring in the theory of Abraham Maslow, that when you have the needs keep on growing from one level to another. So when you have accomplished the basic needs, there will be that desire to get the safety needs, and then from the safety needs, you'll get the social needs, and the need goes on like that. So you will measure your success if you have self-actualized, you have reached your best potential. And from that, either if it is you have researched on something and you have been able to, find a solution to something, if that was your desire, basically just reaching your highest potential, that self-actualization is is one way to actually determine your success in something, how successful you have become. Yes, thank you.
Thank you, Wendy. That's correct. I think, Tafadzo, you were asking why we are not sharing slides. I attempted to share the slides, but I think it was slowing my internet. So I decided to just read the slides from my side, but we will share these slides with you. So I'll just go to the reasons or how we measure career success. There are those who measure on the financial rewards, whether you get the highest salaries.
To say something. It's okay.
Oh yes, you can say something, Tafadzo, before I can go to the career success. You can go ahead.
Okay, yeah. I wanted to say, like, for you to measure if your career is a success, I think for us to choose a career is because we want some achievement, maybe financial achievement, right? To meet our personal life goals. So let's say you are on a certain job, you are pursuing a certain career, and you are saying like you have planned, like in this year I must have been I must have my own house or my own family living such a lifestyle. Then you see by that time, your goal setting and what you have achieved by then is not even anywhere near. So it means your career is almost failing you.
Okay. Yeah, you're right. You're right, Afadzwa. Yeah, so I'll go back to some of the how people measure. Different people measure in different ways, but there are those who consider financial rewards as, you know, having the highest salary maybe in the profession is, you know, to them it's success. There are those who also measure success in terms of the level of expertise or even knowledge that they have gained in that field. You know, there are people who are very respectable in a certain field because of maybe the research they have done, the impact that they have had in a certain field. Maybe if it's a doctor, is one of the doctors maybe who operated and separated Siamese twins, or discovered, you know, maybe treatment for corona. Those are some of people look at it in terms of, you know, career success being, you know, the best in your field, you know, in terms of expertise. Also job satisfaction. There are those who measure success by, does this job satisfy me? You'll find some people going to the workplace, they really don't want to move up to leadership roles. Maybe they are in a very technical place. They are a research person, or maybe they have taken a niche, and for them, that niche gives them satisfaction. They don't necessarily want to go and look for the CEO salary. To them, that's what they do on a daily basis gives them level of satisfaction. There are those who also measure success from the societal impact. So the impact that they measure, they make in society. There are those also who look at success from recognition. Have you been recognized by your peers? Have you been recognized, you know, been given an award, you know, for what you have done in your career? That is also another way that people measure success. There are also those who measure from popularity. For example, if you've chosen a career of being a movie star, or you've chosen acting, so how popular you are, you know, you can use it to say that you've been successful in your career. So how do you grow your career? I just want to check if you're all still with me. Are you all with me? You can hear me?
Yes.
Okay, so we'll go to how do you grow your career? So I'll take you through some of the points and you can be able to add. First of all, choose your career early. You know, now you're probably in the university and finalizing, and some of you I think are almost coming to an end. Whatever you have chosen, you know, if you have passion for it, you know, choose your road or your path towards your career very early. Some of you are in broad professions. Go and do some research and see, in this, maybe I've done economics. What kind of specialization in economics can I be able to take? If I've done, you know, I've done maybe marketing and communication, what can I specialize in PR? So look at, you know, the profession that you have chosen and look at what area you can be able to specialize. So choose early, because when you choose early, then you can be able to plan better, and you can be able to now even make steps towards growing your career in that line that you have chosen. And the test that we've given you today also will help you to be able to understand the kind of person you are, because this test can be able to see your personality, test your personality and link it to the most suitable job for you, because there are jobs which require outgoing people. There are jobs which are okay with people who are not very outgoing. There are jobs which require people skills. There are jobs which don't require, you know. So sometimes it's important if you can be able to look at that test and see what kind of career line is most suitable for me, so that you really don't have to change your character. Your career is, you fall seamlessly into that career. Then align your career with personality. With your personality, I think I've talked about that. Further your education in the line of your career. So don't see as if the basic degree is the end. There are other professional certificates that you can get to be able to align yourself more to that career. For example, if you're in HR, there is the professional certificate for HR, joining that association for HR. There are people of procurement, there are marketing. There are those papers that you can be able to get to grow yourself even more. Don't be afraid of going to get a master's degree, a PhD, you know, to be able to even better yourself in terms of that career that you have chosen. Also network with other professionals in your career, especially those who have gone ahead of you, because they'll be able to show you how they were able to get to where they are. They will show you the networks, they'll tell you the courses they took. They can also act as your mentors. So it's important to network. You know, when you hear that there's an event for your society, maybe Marketing Society of Kenya, Law Society of Kenya, if there's such an event, go there and talk to those people. They will be able to assist you. Many people are willing to assist those who are coming, from behind. Then do not be afraid to change your career. If you have chosen a career, sometimes, the education system in Kenya just, places you in a career that you maybe might not be, something that you're very interested in. You were just picked, you are given, maybe you are called for a degree which you're not very passionate about. The good thing is that a degree is normally just the basic. So you can be able to change your career if you want after the first degree, whereby most organizations will just ask you for the basic degree and then now the specialization. So you can go for a postgraduate diploma in an area that you feel that you want to specialize on. So don't be afraid of change. Then also don't be afraid of changing employers. And I think young people like you guys are always very good at this. Sometimes growing in your career is not a straight jacket whereby you grow within one organization. Some people can be able to grow, by moving to one organization to another, but not also too much. At least spend some time there. If you can do a minimum of 3 years before you move, because sometimes in organizations there are people who have been there for so long and they are unwilling to move. So you might be able to get better prospects if you were to move to another organization, as opposed to waiting for this person who to retire. Some of them have 20 years to retire. So don't be afraid to change your employer, or even if your employer is somebody who's not giving you opportunities, overworking you, especially I see people who work in banks. Sometimes they work even, Monday to Saturday, they don't even have time to go to school. So you find yourself, you're 40 years, you've not done your master's, you've not done things. Why? Because you have been so engaged in that employer doing work for them, but you've forgotten to grow yourself. Then also identify a mentor early and work with them. A mentor is somebody who in your line of career who has gone ahead or achieved more, and they can be able to mentor you. They can be able to assist you to work, in your career and, tell you what you require to be able to get to where that mentor has gotten in the career. Also read widely on the developments in your career. Always know what is happening in your line of work, always research, always, read an article. On LinkedIn, there's so much that you can be able to read. The internet is there available for you. Don't be, spend so much on Instagram, on Facebook. Allocate some time to be able to, do some reading, which is in relation to your career and to grow yourself, or even in leadership. You can also write articles, opinion pieces, on your line of work. And this is one of the ways that you can be recognized, as a professional in your career. Write articles, send opinion pieces to newspapers, even to that association. Some associations have some newsletters, some organizations have newsletters. So write articles on new areas in your profession, or even generally in a corporate, and submit those pieces. That way people get to see your thinking and you can be able to get opportunities. Then network in social forums like LinkedIn, join a professional society. I think I've talked about that. Don't be afraid of failure. Yes, when you join work, there will be failure, will be there, but don't look at it as if you fail in the first assignment, you're always going to fail. Pick yourself up and continue to learn, learn from that failure and continue to attempt. If you fail, don't be afraid of attempting, attempt again. Then have a career plan and update it regularly. I always advise young people, once you have already started your first employment, have a plan for the first year. So if it is the first year, have a plan. Okay, they are paying me this amount of money. Have a budget. I'm saying that this amount of money, I will take my basic needs. This amount of money, probably I will save. This amount of money, I'll be able to pay for myself to do maybe a certification that is required. So in terms of your budget, plan it. In terms of also your career, also plan, say that, this year I'm going to ensure that I've joined this professional association. This year I'm going to enroll for my master's. This year I'll go for this number of social events in my association. This year maybe I'll get this number of credit points. There are those associations who have some credit points. So have a plan, and then at the end of the year, look at that plan. Were you able to tick all those things? Because what gets measured gets done. So if you approach your career from a laissez-faire point of view, whereby you're not intentional about it, you'll find you've done 10 years of a career whereby you just have experience, but you have not unplanned experience. It's not so unique from any other person. If the person who will have planned will have much more a diverse experience, will have much more than you who did not plan. Also learn how to delegate. And then last but not least, don't forget yourself. Don't let your career take over your life. Go on holiday, live healthy, go to the gym, eat well, spend time with your family. Know at the end of the day that your employer can fire you, but your family can never fire you. So don't be the kind of person who works so hard or works so much that you sacrifice family time, or you sacrifice time to do other things, other social things. So have some work-life balance, whereby when it's time to work, it's time to work. When it's time to be able to go do other things which are equally important, also do that. So that is on growing your career. Does anybody have a question on that before we can proceed to the last topic, which is change management?
I'm good.
Yes, you can proceed with your question. Does anybody have a question?
Excuse me,
or
madam.
comment?
Excuse me, madam.
Yes.
Okay, I'm
Yes.
a HR person, and okay, so far the two topics that you have discussed, the last two topics, I've really gained a lot. Okay, knowing that my parents are teachers and they were employed in those eras of before the education was that somehow common, and being in coming from a Ushago place, I've been getting some challenges, but apart from having the certificates, getting that information that you have told us today, the two topics, it's a good one, and it's motivating to me. And then I also have another question on the first topic that we discussed about. There was something that you were saying about having jobs. You a skill, maybe you get a certain skill, and then there's this question that I wanted to ask, like for some organizations or for some employees. Okay, let me just mention them. For example, you have this thing by the Kotu person, the Atuoli, and this other person for the teacher, for the teachers, not Sosion. Okay, on my point, as a HR, okay, I want to hear from you. I don't think it's wise or it's a good thing for what they are doing. I think when you get to your retirement age, it's always good to retire and give other people the opportunity on the HR part. And then another question is on this lockdown, the lockdown that came phase 2. There is this thing that I heard from my sister, where you have said it's good to not only to just have one career or in one skill, you will be able to multitask. For me, who is a HR person, is it good, or is it good? Can I encourage my employees? Is it right? Maybe you had employed your employees for a certain, how do I put it? Yeah, for a certain career, maybe as a HR or maybe as an ICT person. But now, because of this thing of Corona, you lay off some people in the name of this one has an this one is an ICT person and can also drive. Is it good for the not for the employer? Yes, I know for the employer it's a good thing, but what about the employees? Thank you.
Okay, thank you for those many questions. Yes, I'll start with your last question about being able to be flexible. It is unfortunate that the environment now is that there are more employees than there are more employers. So in the world of work is very competitive. So you'll find that there are fewer jobs. So, and there are more people competing for those few jobs. So if you can be that person who is flexible enough, then you have a better chance. Yes, sometimes, it might not be fair that you're laid off because you probably cannot be able to multitask or cannot be able to be flexible. But I think it's important you, from the point of an employee, to be prepared, to be flexible, because the organization has a right. If the organization is not making any profits or not making any money, then there are rights within the law that allow them to be able to reduce staff or to be able to lay off staff if they cannot be able to survive or they cannot be able to meet their salaries. So the best thing you can do as an employee is to prepare yourself, is to make yourself indispensable, to make yourself irreplaceable by having multiple skills, so that even if an organization needs to retain few people, then you can do one or two jobs. Because the reality is that there are very many graduates looking for, and the jobs that are there are very few. On the issue of people like Atuoli and Sosion, yes, I think it's important that the older people retire. But I think that's politics, because those are positions that they are elected to, and the people who elect them, I think, have reasons why they keep on electing them despite their age. But I agree. I think it's important that the older people pave way for the younger people, so that they may be able to have work opportunities. I think on the issue of skills, I think you mentioned about skills. You talked about something to do with skills, and I think, yes, it's just important to be able to increase your skills at the workplace, as skills related to your career. Research on what is important in your career, what kind of skills are important in your line of career, and perfect them. I think you also mentioned about coming from Shags. Even me, I came from Shags. I was not very confident, but with time and without any fear, if you don't be afraid of people seeing this is somebody from Shags. Your Shags yako itatoka tu with time. You'll become competent, you'll become confident. It happens when you're in the university, you'll still be that Shags person. But after much exposure in the world, there will be no difference from the Shags person from the person who didn't grow up in Shags. So yeah, I think those are the comments. I hope I've answered your questions on that. Does anybody have any question before I go to our last topic? I think we just have a few minutes to go. So I think let me go to our last topic, and that is on change management. And I'll start just by defining what change management is. Change management is defined as the methods and manners in which a company describes and implements change within both its internal and external processes. This includes preparing and supporting employees, establishing necessary steps for change, monitoring pre- and post-change activities to ensure successful implementation. So change normally happens in organizations, and if the change is not implemented well, it can affect employees in a negative way. For example, a change has happened, like what is happening in Safaricom now. They are changing their structure to an agile way of work, and you can already see that there's so much anxiety, whereby employees are feeling that maybe they are going to lose their jobs, maybe they are going to be demoted. So that change is normally sometimes a very sensitive time in an organization, and it happens in all organizations. So even you, as you're going into the world of work, you need to be prepared for change. When you go in for a position, don't think that things are going to be the same throughout. Don't be too comfortable. Always seek to be able to improve yourself, so that if any change comes, then you can be able to seamlessly maybe move very fast to get another job, or move very fast to occupy positions that are created within that organization, so that you're not ending up being the loser in that change. And also that you can be able to embrace that change, because sometimes you have change introduced in an organization and people resist that change. And sometimes the change is introduced for the betterment of the organization, for efficiency purposes, for the organization to survive. So if you're that person who's resisting, then it will be very easy for you to be pushed out. So in terms of how you prepare for change, I'll first of all take you through how to prepare it as a leader, because you're going to occupy leadership positions in the organizations that you're going to work. So first, you set expectations of the ongoing change with all the employees. So ensure that you communicate to them what you expect from them. It's very important that the change should not be something that you're just pushing onto the staff that you're working with. It's important that you consult them in the decision making, in even coming up with that change strategy. Consultation will just ensure that there isn't much resistance in the change. Also celebrate and recognize the good work that was done under the old system. So if there was an old system or an old way of doing things and things worked in that old way, but now there's necessity for change, still recognize the good things that happened, but emphasize the importance of now of going forward and even getting better things done in the new way of working.